In the annals of time, whispered warnings echo from ancient prophecies. A figure of immense power, a test unlike any other, destined to emerge. He is the Dajjal, the Antichrist, foretold as the greatest tribulation humanity will ever face. But what if the seeds of his coming were sown long ago? What if, centuries before his appointed time, a man stumbled upon his secret prison? A journey to the edge of the known world, where reality and myth converge. A chilling encounter that would shape understanding of the end times forever. The Dajjal's arrival is not a sudden event, but a climactic point in a series of unfolding signs. Islamic tradition speaks of his distinctive features: a single eye, the word kafir etched upon his forehead. His ability to perform false miracles, to deceive the masses, will be immense. He will claim divinity, leading many astray. Yet, before this grand deception, before the world crumbles under his influence, a hidden truth remained. A secret, guarded by the deep, waiting for the right moment to be unveiled. Our story begins with Tamim al-Dari, a Christian man from Palestine, who would later embrace Islam. His journey, however, precedes his conversion. He was a seafarer, accustomed to the vast, unpredictable expanses of the ocean. Little did he know, this particular voyage, with 30 companions, would lead them not to a new port, but to a destiny intertwined with the most profound prophecies. A routine journey, perhaps, but one that veered wildly off course, into the realm of the extraordinary. Into the unknown. The storm struck without warning. For a month, their ship was at the mercy of the raging sea, tossed violently by colossal waves. Lost, disoriented, with no sense of direction, they drifted aimlessly. Hope began to wane, replaced by despair. Yet, in this desolation, a flicker of light appeared. Not a lighthouse, nor a familiar coastline, but a faint outline on the horizon. An island. A chance for salvation. Or perhaps, something far more sinister. What awaited them on those shores? Upon landing, a desolate landscape greeted them. Unfamiliar. Eerie. A place untouched by human civilization, or so it seemed. They disembarked, desperate for sustenance, their senses on high alert. The air was thick with an unsettling quiet, broken only by the sound of waves. Then, a movement. A figure in the distance. Not human. Something else. This was no ordinary island. This was a place of secrets, a forgotten corner of the world, guarding something ancient and terrifying. What creature could inhabit such a place? As they ventured further, they encountered a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. Described as intensely hairy, so much so that its front and back were indistinguishable. This was Al-Jassasah, the spy or the scout. Its appearance was bizarre, its very presence unsettling. It spoke, articulating a message that would send shivers down their spines. Its voice, its words, were not of this world. What was its purpose? And to whom did it belong? Al-Jassasah, with its strange intelligence, directed them. Not with threats, but with a cryptic instruction, to proceed to a certain monastery, where a chained man awaited their presence. A man, it said, who yearned for their news. The companions, bewildered and terrified, had little choice but to follow. The creature's words, though unsettling, carried an undeniable authority. What kind of man would be chained in such a place? And why would this bizarre beast serve him? They arrived at a crumbling structure, perhaps a monastery, as the beast had described. Inside, a sight that defied belief. A man of immense stature, bound by chains. His hands tied to his neck, his legs from his knees to his ankles, secured by iron. He was a colossal figure, pulsating with an eerie energy. His eyes, burning with an intensity that pierced the shadows. Who was this titan? And what unspeakable power required such an elaborate, terrifying imprisonment? The chained man's voice boomed, demanding to know who they were. Upon learning they were Arabs, he began to question them about the world outside his prison. His questions were specific, probing, revealing a knowledge of distant lands and events. He asked about the date palm trees of Baisan, the spring of Zugahar, and the lake of Tiberias. Why these particular locations? What significance did they hold for a prisoner on a desolate island? And what did his questions truly signify? The chained man asked if the date palms of Baisan were still bearing fruit. He inquired if the spring of Zugahar was still flowing. And he asked about the lake of Tiberias, if it still held water. These were not random inquiries. Each question was a sign, a marker of the end times, directly linked to prophecies concerning his own release. Tamim and his companions confirmed the trees were fruitful, the spring flowed, and the lake was full. But with each answer, the chained man's fury and despair grew. What would happen when these signs failed? Then came the most pivotal question: tell me about the unlettered prophet. Has he appeared? Tamim confirmed that the Prophet Muhammad had indeed emerged, that his message was spreading, and that he was gaining followers. This news seemed to inflame the chained man further. His reaction was violent, a mix of rage and dread. Why was the rise of a prophet in Arabia of such profound importance to this prisoner? And what was his connection to the unfolding spiritual revolution? With the final answer, the chained man declared his identity. He was the Dajjal. His chains, he explained, were temporary. He was being held until the time appointed for his release. He then warned them of his eventual emergence, his ability to travel the earth, sowing corruption and mischief. Only Mecca and Medina would be forbidden to him. The companions stood aghast. They had met the greatest deceiver, confined by divine decree, waiting for his moment. The ultimate test was closer than they imagined. Tamim and his companions eventually escaped the island, returning to Arabia. Upon their arrival, Tamim, now a Muslim, recounted his harrowing tale to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Prophet listened intently, gathering his companions to hear this extraordinary account. He confirmed every detail, emphasizing the profound significance of Tamim's encounter. It was a divine affirmation, a seal of truth upon a story that defied imagination. A story that cemented a vital prophecy. The Prophet Muhammad, upon hearing Tamim's story, expressed his delight. He declared that Tamim's account perfectly aligned with his own knowledge of the Dajjal. He even pointed out that the Dajjal's island was in the Syrian Sea or the Yemen Sea, reinforcing the profound reality of this prophecy. This wasn't merely a tale, it was a divinely sanctioned confirmation, a rare glimpse into the unseen realm, delivered to humanity through an ordinary man's extraordinary journey. The Dajjal was real. His prison, real. His emergence, inevitable. This extraordinary account is preserved in the authentic collections of Hadith, primarily narrated by Muslim, from the chain of Fatima bint Qais. Its inclusion in such esteemed compilations underscores its veracity and importance within Islamic belief. It's not a myth, not folklore, but a verified prophetic tradition. This encounter serves as a foundational text for understanding the Dajjal, his characteristics, and the signs preceding his ultimate emergence. A stark reminder of what is to come. The Prophet mentioned the Dajjal's island could be in the Syrian Sea or the Yemen Sea. However, the exact location remains a mystery. The Hadith doesn't provide precise coordinates, leaving room for interpretation and, naturally, for speculation. Was it a specific, now lost landmass? Or a symbolic location, accessible only by extraordinary means? The lack of definitive geography only deepens the enigma. The Dajjal's prison, hidden from human eyes, awaits its fated unlocking. Over centuries, many have tried to pinpoint the Dajjal's island. Some theories venture into the realm of cryptozoology, suggesting creatures like Al-Jassasah might be undiscovered species. Others have linked the Dajjal's island to legendary locations. The Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis, remote, unexplored deep-sea trenches. These modern conjectures, while intriguing, often stretch beyond the scope of authenticated sources. They represent humanity's inherent desire to rationalize the unknown. But where does the Hadith end and human imagination begin? It is crucial to differentiate between the authentic hadith and subsequent interpretations or theories. Tamim al-Dari's account is a factual prophetic narration. The Dajjal's existence, his imprisonment, and his eventual emergence are established truths in Islamic eschatology. However, linking his island to specific modern locations like the Bermuda Triangle or using speculative cryptids for Al-Jassasah moves into uncharted territory. These are compelling ideas, but they remain within the realm of conjecture, lacking any basis in authentic Islamic texts. Ultimately, the precise location of the Dajjal's island is not explicitly revealed. Perhaps it's not meant for human discovery until his appointed time. His prison might be guarded by unseen forces, beyond the reach of human ships and satellites. The mystery serves a purpose: to emphasize the divine decree, the hidden aspects of the end times that remain veiled until their manifestation. He waits, unseen, unheard, a cosmic countdown ticking towards a moment that will shake the very foundations of the world. The chained man's questions about the date palms, the spring, and Lake Tiberias serve as chilling indicators. As these natural resources diminish, as the world changes, so too draws nearer the moment of his release. He will break free, emerging to fulfill his prophesied role. His arrival will usher in a period of unprecedented trial and deception. Tamim al-Dari's encounter is more than a story, it's a stark warning, a call to spiritual vigilance. The greatest deception awaits. The story of Tamim al-Dari and his encounter with the Dajjal serves not to instill fear, but to foster vigilance and firm belief. It's a testament to the unseen realities, the prophecies that guide us through the turbulence of the end times. While the island's exact coordinates remain elusive, the essence of the hadith is clear: the Dajjal is real, his emergence is certain, and humanity must prepare. His story, centuries old, continues to resonate, reminding us that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved until their fated time.